Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015 whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the U in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, listen, subscribe. Thanks to everybody that views us. Check us every Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific time when we do our live roundtable speaking. Also, I want to start off here with, we're watching the disaster that's happened from Hurricane Helen. And House Speaker Mike Johnson, a Louisiana Republican, said on Sunday that he does not intend to call Congress out of recess to vote on emergency funding for federal agencies assisting in Hurricane Helen recovery efforts. Johnson told Fox News Sunday, Shannon Bream, that lawmakers will be back in session immediately after the election to provide any funding needs for the states hit hardest by the Category 4 storm that made its way through southeastern United States late last month. That's 30 days from now, the Republican leader said. The thing about these hurricanes and disasters at that magnitude, it takes a while to calculate the actual damages, and the states are going to need some time to do that. Now, let's talk about what's going on online. Everyone's like, where's the funding? Where's the funding?
Yeah.
You're only giving them this, right? They're putting all these conspiracies. They have a chance to do something.
Yep.
So, I mean,
Yep.
you can't how could you look at this, you look at that disaster, you see all the people that have died, because the numbers keep growing. I think it's about 500 right now.
It's the number of
five or 600 people have been dead. It must be nice to just leave and go home for 30 days and be like, we'll come back and think about voting on it. But then you got all your constituents out there saying, and Republicans, there's a lot of them, saying you're not doing enough for them. You're not doing enough funding. You're not doing anything for them. And this is the chance to do it. Just like the border deal.
You got to kind of almost look at it like it's easier to live off of a lie and a conspiracy, especially right now, because like lies travel faster than the truth. Yeah. People want to talk about the most negative thing that they could possibly talk about at a time like this and be like, oh, they're not doing anything. I mean, towns have been washed away. I mean, Kamala Harris has already come out and said the government will reimburse for all expenditures as far as statewide expenditures for fixing what happened during Hurricane Helen. And these are the same states same people who push back on, the government needs to stay out of our business. The government it's overreach. We need to get rid of all these government agencies. But now they're looking for government dollars when it comes time for these type of things that happen. They don't want to help out during anything else. But when something happens to you, now all of a sudden, where's the government? People anti-big government. And I'm not even for big government. I'm for effective government. But at the same time, these same people are the same ones who are willing to live off of a conspiracy rather than looking at the truth. Even the Georgia governor came out, Kemp came out and said that first Trump was saying, he hasn't talked to Kemp. He hasn't called. Kemp can't get a hold of him.
All the governors came out. They were like, look, we've talked to Biden. And he said, what do you need? And they're like, we have everything right now. And they said, whatever you need, let us know. They even came out to be like, no, that was a lie. Like, we have talked to the president.
Yeah, I mean, he called them directly before this even happened. Everything's a photo op right now. Everything's a lie and a conspiracy. To me, anyone who has to lie that much or spark conspiracies to think to even, you go back to the migrant thing. You go back to all of that. Everything. It's political season. We get it. It's politics. We get it. But you don't have to lie in order to make your point more effective. That's the worst part about it. You can tell the truth. If the truth is, sometimes the truth is more effective than a lie.
Even John DeSantis, the shamed governor of Florida, came out and said, "Hey," even Biden called and said, "What do you need?" They called him. They want Biden and Kamala out there digging ditches. That's what they'll make them feel better.
I mean, these towns were completely underwater. Houses are gone. Once your house is waterlogged like that, your house is done for.
Yeah.
All the electrical, everything in your house is fried. It's done. I mean, there's no way you can dry your house back out after this and then live in it still where it's livable, because everything that's all the chemicals, everything that's passed through.
The wood is going to grow mold.
Yeah.
It's going to be, your house has to be taken down all the way down to the root.
And so, I mean, we have to remember these people are climate change, rejectors, people who we don't believe in climate change. I bet you believe a little bit more now, and it's horrible to say it at a time like this, but you got to look at this as what it is. I had someone online say something like, we think that FEMA is not, if they're running out of money, we'll get into that next.
Yeah.
If they're running out of money, they're giving it to the migrants or whoever else. I said, no, I mean, we've had so many different hurricanes this season. Look at what happened in Houston.
We have hurricanes. We've had flooding.
Everything.
We've had a lot. The natural disasters are growing here. I mean, there's about to be one here. Just to add to it, there's one's about to hit Florida by Wednesday.
Yeah, a Category 3.
It's going to be a Category 2 or even a 3 by Wednesday.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's a whole nother one. These hurricanes are getting stronger and stronger.
In November, it doesn't end until after, I think, November. At the end of November is the end of hurricane season. And so we still got time to go. That's why Mike Johnson's not so, he's like, man, we probably going to have about 2 or 3 more. He don't want to admit it, but he sees it. It's coming.
From Louisiana. He don't care about none of those people. That's the cold piece about it. It's like, how can you look at all this devastation, but, someone probably told him, don't give them funding. Let's do it after the election so I can just like the border deal.
Do it after the election.
Let's not do the border deal because it's going to make Donald Trump look bad. Think about it. You don't care to save people. You're doing this for politics. There's political theater and there's people that are trying to fix the country, or trying to help people. So it's sad times right now.
It's clown season, man. I mean, it's too bad that these same people who are talking about, what hasn't been done for the American people won't step up to the plate. Or they're only trying to give $720 to Americans for this. But they've given all this money to all these other countries. Give them some more funding.
Well, the $750 is actually just to help people right then and there for supplies. That's not all they get.
Put it in your pocket.
And then people are complaining. Okay. They're like, hey, they're not giving us the funding. They're like, well, you need to prove that you were in these disaster areas.
Yeah, I mean.
Which makes sense, because I come stayed over like, yeah.
I need that too.
My house washed away.
Fill in the paperwork. I mean, I was staying with someone who lived over here. Anything you can say. Yeah. I get it.
But then it's also like, my ID was in my house. And my house is out in the ocean. Exactly.
I mean, we need to flush them quickly with funding, make sure it's happening, get FEMA out there. I think these are certain agencies that Project 2025 want to get rid of.
Yeah, they want to get rid of FEMA. They want to get rid of the NOAA, which actually predicts the weather coming in. And it's crazy. It's like they pointed out, like last time North Carolina had a disaster like that, the Trump administration gave them 1% of the 99% they were asking for. And they're going to get rid of this stuff. And think about it. You may not like Joe Biden and the Biden administration, but they're not looking at these. They're like, oh, well, that's more of a Republican state, so we're not going to do anything like Donald Trump has said about California.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They saw American people hurt, and they're going into action. Is it quick? Going to happen? No. Life is not like a TV. They have to. Some of these areas are still dangerous.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You can step in a pile of mud and sink down to the bottom.
And some of them are very rural, where it's very hard to get to. You know what I mean? Like they've had to I think they're like carting people off in some places because they couldn't get there, because some of them are one road kind of towns. Like you only get in one way, and they were washed out by this flooding.
And then you've got the trees and everything. Like I took a tree where I live at. There's trees all around me, and I don't realize what it looked like until I took a drone and puffed it all the way up past the tree line, and you can't see nothing. All you see is trees. You may see a house here, but it's just trees, and so they got to figure out where people are and if they're down there. Yeah, it's a big disaster. You're not expecting it to happen. So,
well, we'll definitely keep you updated.
But everybody should be doing their best in their part. All government officials, you should not be on recess at all. And the fact that he won't call them back in is because they're living in their home states, feeling comfortable.
He's from Louisiana too. You've seen the devastation of this type of stuff. I've been down there a year after Katrina, and I saw how bad it was. I saw the grass was gray.
He's letting people suffer so Donald Trump can look good.
I've never seen gray grass. I've never seen like water lines so high up a building, like 20 feet high up buildings, water lines that ran across the building. Like, this is how high the water was. You're dead. You know what I mean? There's no way you're making it. But next thing, Elon Musk makes first appearance at Trump rally and casts the election in dire terms. Billionaire tech executive Elon Musk cast the upcoming presidential election in dire terms during his an appearance with Donald Trump, calling the Republican presidential nominee the only candidate to preserve democracy in America. The CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, who also purchased X, must join Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday at the site where the former president survived an assassination attempt in July. Musk said this will be the last election if Trump doesn't win. Wearing a cap with the "Make America Great Again" slogan of Trump's campaign, Musk appeared to acknowledge the foreboding nature of his remarks. As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm a dark MAGA, he said. It was the first time Musk joined Trump on one of his at one of his rallies, and was evidence of their growing alliance in the final stretch of the presidential election. Musk created a super political action committee, super PAC, supporting the Republican nominee, and has been spending heavily to get out the vote efforts. Trump said he would tap Musk to lead a government efficiency commission if he regains the White House. I don't really.
So check it out. Elon Musk, he looked nervous up there.
Yeah.
He didn't look like a comedy. You know why? Because he threatened. He made a threat against Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
He absolutely did.
You know what I'm saying? And he did that shit on his site that he owns, X, and he's under investigation for it. So yeah, of course he's going to show up. But if you have him in a Trump party, and then this fool owns 2/3 of the satellites in the sky, like that's just danger. It's danger. I mean, these people are showing their real colors. It's like you said, it's an important election because it talks about the future of a lot of people here.
This dude, I mean, to me, the stuff he was saying, I watched the speech that he gave. It was very lethargic. You know what I mean? He was like, you know, it was very like negative towards the country. Oh, we're heading towards the edge kind of a conversation he was having. Oh, make sure you get all your friends out to go vote. He's saying stuff like, they don't even want voter identification when you go to vote. We haven't had that for years. We haven't had to worry about it. You register to vote. You get vetted, and that's how they catch people who are not supposed to register to vote. You have to register. You don't need an ID to go and vote. That's just not what we've ever done, and it's worked for us thus far. Trump got elected with those same rules, so I mean, it seems weird now that everyone's so, you need to have an ID to vote. You know what I mean? They're trying to knock off, a lot of different states have knocked off hundreds of thousands of people off the voter rolls just here recently in efforts to try and subvert the election.
Yeah, well, I mean, like they caught 4 people in Detroit. 4 people intentionally voted twice in Michigan's summer primary election. The state attorney general said Friday as she announced felony charges against the suburban Detroit residents as well as part-time employees accused of enabling it to happen. And they were all Republicans.
I mean, it's been a lot of that going on. And I'm not, anybody can do it, but it has been a lot more right-leaning when it comes to who is trying to cheat. Like, because when Trump beat Hillary Clinton, I was like, man, she needs to go ahead and just concede. I watched it till late, like couldn't believe it was happening.
Believe it either.
But I was like, man, she needs to go ahead and concede. That was you can go back and look at my Facebook post. That's what I said on there. It wasn't like he cheated. I didn't say any of that stuff. I mean, he won. That's what happened. He won. He came out. Whether or not people came out and spread lies on the social media or not, they're still doing it to this day. We're watching it happen. He still won. People can believe the lies or they can believe. So I speak with people all the time, but sometimes having conversations and listening to what people say, people are very easily swayed by what they see on the internet as being true. They can see something on the internet and it's like, man, this isn't, I know this is not true by just doing a little bit of research. It's not true. You get what I'm saying? But it's okay for a person. They'll take it, run with it, and they'll repeat it. And once you repeat that, another person hears it. There's 10 people who are willing to just take what you say at face value versus 2 or 3 of them who are actually going to go look it up.
Well, we have a lot of people that, they're living off likes, clicks, and subscribers.
Absolutely.
So that's like, even with the FEMA thing that's going on right now, these people are fucking crazy. And that's why, excuse me, I hate to say that, but then you have Elon Musk. He's so mad that so many people have blocked him on X. He's like, we're getting rid of the block feature.
No, X is starting to, you have to look at X's. I mean, they're losing a great deal. There was a little story I want to do about that too, but they're losing a great deal of their subscriber base.
Yeah, and
they're leaving.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that used to be on there with me. They're like, I can't do it no more.
I mean, they're out of. He's talking about how, we have to keep our First Amendment rights to freedom of speech. You're blocking people on your platform who want to vote for Kamala Trump, who are running things for different. You're the very epitome of that. You come in with the whole everyone should be able to say what they want to say, but as soon as someone says something that you don't like, you're blocking them. You're not. I mean, listen, bro, and it's horrible. And I know I'm very much a person who's all about immigration, but you're not from here. You weren't born here. You came here later in life when you were like 17, 18 years old. You were pretty much a developed, somewhat thinker at that point in time when you came to this country. And then he said, do we have the Second Amendment right to preserve the First Amendment right? Man, come on, bro. It's like,
and what he's doing on X, like he's like I said, he's turning it upside down. I saw they made a post on Facebook and the local paper, and people were like, yeah, that's how it should be. And I was like, I was on there. I was like, none of you are even on Twitter. It shows, because if you were on Twitter, you wouldn't agree with none of the stuff he's doing. The thing that made Twitter great was the reason he bought it.
Yeah.
And then he took it and flipped it and made it his own. And so after Twitter, as soon as, if they open up Blue Sky where everybody can go over there and do, because Blue Sky is basically just Twitter. It was made by Jack Dorsey. Mm-hmm. And at first you had to get invited. I had some lady invite me over there, and I'm on it. So once they open up Blue Sky and we all move over there, Twitter's dead.
And it should be, because a person like this shouldn't own a platform like he just. To me, you're bought and sold. You know what I mean? You're sold on an idea of the stuff you say.
Once Trump loses the election and the war resides, then we'll see, the real effect of his propaganda machine. Because I mean, they show you. they show you what they want to show you. I mean, I got him dinging on my phone. I'm about to block him. I can't talk about him bad on there because, once again, my search history is a little questionable.
You say your search history is a little questionable. I know. Hey, it happens, man. I mean, at the end of the day, you should be blocking him. But let me go on to a couple. Israeli strikes batter Beirut in heaviest bombardment so far, witnesses say. Israeli air attacks battered Beirut's southern suburbs overnight and early on Sunday in the most intense bombardment of the Lebanese capital since Israel sharply escalated its campaign against Iran-backed group Hezbollah last month. During the night, the blast sent booms across Beirut and sparked flashes of red-white for nearly 30 minutes, visible from several kilometers away. It was the single biggest attack of Israel's assault on Beirut so far, witnesses and military analysts on local TV channels said. On Sunday, a gray haze hung over the city and rubble was strewn across streets in the southern suburbs, while smoke columns rose over the area. Last night was the most violent of all the previous nights. Buildings were shaking around us, and at first, I thought it was an earthquake. There were dozens of strikes. We couldn't count them all, and the sounds were deafening, said Hannah Abdullah, a resident of Bur Allah Burjana area in Beirut's southern suburbs. From what I was reading about this, what they're doing over in Israel is they're telling them in the middle of the night. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm looking at images right now of some of the bombs. They were dropping 2,000-pound bombs. The ones we were telling them we're not going to give them anymore. The ones we ended up giving them again, they're dropping those bombs on them, and it's crazy, the devastation. But
that was Beirut, Lebanon.
Yes, okay. They were telling them basically like they'll give them an alert like 15 minutes before, like, hey, you need to be 500 meter, whatever it is, away from this building right here, and they'll give them an alert in the middle of the night. Like, so imagine if you're sleeping and you don't get that alert. And now you got to get up out of your sleep, or if you don't hear it, and they're killing people over there. I think they've killed over 2,000 or 3,000 people already have died in that conflict alone. That's not including the 41,000 that we know of in Gaza. Who knows how many in the West Bank? You know what I mean? It's just this is a massacre that they're doing of epic proportions. And then you have people like Netanyahu coming out and you know, kind of like coming at the West for even speaking out against, because we're not, most of us aren't, most of the Western countries are not, but some are. You know what I mean? Like he had 80, like I think it was 80% of the countries that the UN walked out of his speech because he sat there trying to defend a standpoint where you're committing genocide.
Yeah, well, they have 30 days to at least, you know, finish what they're doing, because once the election's over, ain't nobody got to be nice to them.
But Joe Biden, man, this is how I look at it like this. Joe Biden is I mean, he's called himself a Zionist. He's bought into this whole entire protect Israel at all costs. And it's not, every time Iran defends itself by striking back, they call it an attack on Israel. Oh, they're attacked Israel. I can't believe they need to stand down. Like, how about they stand down? How about if someone attacks a major leader or anyone in our country? What would we do? You know what I mean? We would send more than 100. We'd send 180,000 troops. We've done it to the area. You know what I mean, with aircraft carriers and everything else. So to me, man, it's just crazy, man, that we're allowing him to get away with this type of a genocide. But go ahead.
America,
yeah,
America is.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
They
I mean, I understand that. When I say we're Americans, though, people, I mean, we walk around this world. That's who we are. That's the passport that we carry. Yeah. We are American. We speak English. I know a lot of other countries do too. You know what I mean? So don't get me wrong, but we are Americans, man, like from the United States. So, and I defend that. That's just, and I'm not mad about that. But at the same time, I'm not okay with what's happening here. Me personally.
Yeah, no, I'm not either. I'm not either. Because I mean, as a person who's living in a natural genocide here in America, I just don't agree with America letting another country do it and then funding them to do it, and then we have to watch it on TV.
Yeah, I mean, and just a caveat to that same exact story is Francis Macron calls for arms sales bans on Israel as Gaza war nears end. Nears a year. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry for calling it a war because it's really an attack. French President Emmanuel Macron has called for a halt on arms deliveries to Israel, which has been bombing Gaza for a year now and recently launched a military operation against Lebanon. I think that today the priority is that we return to a political solution, that we stop delivering weapons to fight in Gaza, Macron told broadcasters France Inter on Saturday. France is not delivering any weapons, he added during the interview recorded earlier this week. He's been pushed. He's had a lot of pushback about this from Netanyahu, especially, that he's willing to start at least step up and say, you know what, we're not gonna, because France has really good ties, have had previous ties with Lebanon. And he's like, man, at this point in time, we're not okay with you going into Lebanon and doing what you're doing in Gaza. He said, Lebanon cannot become a second Gaza.
Yeah.
He came out and said that. And now like I said, Netanyahu came out with a vicious attack stating that we can't believe that France is doing this at this time. We're under attack from all sides. Iran's attacking us from all sides. It's not what's happening.
You're attacking these people, these countries. You bombed them all. They said nothing. You keep bombing them, and now they want to attack back. And now you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. We need the West to give us more weapons. No, everybody, all the Western countries need to stop and be like, no, we're not going to give you weapons. Call a ceasefire, or we're not backing you no more.
I mean,
that's all you got to say. And then we got to get rid of all the people that are in our U.S. government that have dual citizenships anywhere. No one should be telling and making laws in America where you have a dual citizenship anymore.
Absolutely.
And then,
No, you go ahead.
And I want to finish with this one. U.S. couple unable to sue Uber after life-altering crash due to Uber Eats order. Now, pay attention. New Jersey court has ruled that a married couple that were in a life-altering car accident during an Uber ride can't sue the company as they and their daughter agreed to arbitrations when they accepted the terms of service for a separate Uber Eats order. According to court documents, John and George McGinney, a couple from Mercer County, suffered serious physical, psychological, and financial damage when an Uber they were riding in crashed into another car. Almost a year later, in February 2023, they filed a lawsuit against the ride-hailing company. Georgia sustained several fractures throughout her body, including cervical, lumbar, spine, and rib fractures and other physical injuries in the car crash that required surgery and other procedures, and was unable to return to her job until 2023. Meanwhile, her husband, John, suffered a fractured sternum and severe fractures in his left arm and wrist. As a result, the couple tried taking Uber to court to get compensation for their financial losses, including medical and child care expenses. However, an appellate court recently ruled that they can't because they previously agreed to Uber's updated terms and conditions requiring arbitrations, which are the same in the Uber Eats and Uber Ride app, CNN reported. The McGinneys reiterated the claim that their daughter, who was and is still a minor, was the one who had most recently consented to the terms when she placed an order throughout Uber Eats using George's phone. They claim that they never had the opportunity to see the pop-up, and their daughter agreed to it knowingly or unknowingly while tracking the food order.
And that should be illegal anyways.
Remember, Disney did it to the one couple.
It should be illegal. I mean, honestly, across all this stuff should be illegal. This is where, Disney Plus, like you said.
That's what I'm saying. Look, Disney Plus, now Uber's doing it. What are in these terms and conditions? We don't read them all the way. Think about it. You could be signing away a whole bunch of stuff that you're not even agreeing to. So
this is where government oversight is very, very, very important. But we don't. We're afraid to allow.
The government oversight is gone.
They're trying. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because we got the Supreme Court that we have in power. I would love for you to also do the Idaho. I believe is it Idaho or the Idaho Senator, just really quickly. We have a story, but anyway, I feel like they're sneaking this stuff in because they understand that no one's reading these things. No one's talking about any of these things. No one's reading them, and we're just saying okay. And they kind of have a monopoly on delivery right now. They pretty much knocked out Pizza Hut from being able to, I mean, they still deliver, but you know what I mean? Like in some places they don't. Look in California when they raise minimum wage, they're done, so they kind of have a monopoly on that, and they're all doing the same things. That should be illegal, where you're saying to a person, you don't have a right to sue me. Yeah, I do have a right to sue. That should never even be a thing. If you do something wrong or if you hurt me, I should always have the right to sue you.
Yeah, but you got to read that. I mean, like, scroll some of them things, they be, like, I know
it's when like 100 in me. It's crazy. I would never read it.
EA Sports, there's just so long. They make you scroll to the bottom
to
before
press
it even
accept.
Highlights so you can click on it. But I mean, just think about what kind of rights you're getting. I mean, what's in your Hulu contract?
Who knows? I don't know what's in any of these things that I signed because we don't. Even if you did read it, you probably wouldn't understand half of it because of the double speak, and then they'll have something else down here that states something different. You know how all this stuff is all written. You know what I'm saying? Hereby declare that this, thereforth, and through. I'm like, what the hell? I don't know if this, over supersedes this or not.
It's like, damn, I'm just trying to watch Guardians of the Galaxy. Shoot, this is taking for yeah, it's cool. Now they're coming to your house, taking your furniture. Well, they said we can get your second couch.
If you didn't pay this $12.99, you owe us $15,000 now.
Yeah, I'm like,
you know, some old crazy.
And they raised the price on you, like they just raised the price on Disney Plus is bundled like $21.99, and I'm just like, damn. I don't even watch ESPN Plus. It ain't got nothing on it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Really quick, before we go, I just want to skim through this one. Idaho State Senator tells Native American candidate, go back to where you came from in the forum.
Wow.
Tensions rose during a bipartisan forum this week after an audience questions about discrimination reportedly led to an Idaho State Senator to angrily tell a Native American candidate, go back to where you came from. Republican Senator Dan Foreman left the event early after the outburst and later denied making any racist comments in a Facebook post. He did not respond to a voice message from the Associated Press seeking comments. Trish Carter Goodhart, a Democratic candidate for the House District 6 seat and member of the Nez Perce tribe, said the blow-up left her shaken and thinking about security needs for future public events. It also forced some tough conversations where two young children, Avery and Lavender, were in attendance. Having conversations about racism with an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old is not something me and my husband, Dane, were prepared for, Carter Goodhart said Friday. They've never seen a grown man have a meltdown like that. They were scared. I was scared. The event was held at Democrat and Republican precinct committee members from the small northern Idaho town of Kendrick on Monday night. The Lucent Tribune reported it was for House and Senate candidates for local districts, including Foreman, his Democratic opponent Julie Parker, Republican Rep. Lori Mann, and her Democrat opponent Carter Goodhart. I mean, that's wild.
It's bold.
Bold
as hell for a person to say something to a Native American about go back to where you came from. I didn't say that, and then everyone heard you say it.
She's like, where? Like outside?
You know what I mean? Like,
did you want me to? I bet if that was me, I would be like, okay, I would have done a full circle. Like, I'm here.
I mean, and when you really go back and look at the statistics, like I got this little it's like a population chart that tells you how many people are from where in America, and one of the populations that they track are called Americans. I'm like, so who are we talking about? You know what I mean? I know they got Native Americans on there. They have African Americans on there. Then they have German, all kind of other people. Then they have a group called Americans. I'm wondering, who is that group that you're talking about? Because all those people are really from somewhere else. So they shouldn't be just called straight up Americans, period. You know what I mean? Don't put African American on me if you're not going to put, European American on the rest of these people who are clearly from Europe.
That's what I say. I'll be like, you're European American. I'm not African American at all. I mean, if they call me African American, I'm like, well, you're. And when you call people European Americans, they get offended. They be like, no, I'm American. I'm like, well, fool, I'm an American too.
Do you know on that chart though, if that's broken down, that we are like the first or second largest population of people are, quote unquote, the African American? Are the largest population of people in this country when you break it down the way, when you actually look at where everyone's from, like Germans, France, or everything else. Americans are like third or like fourth or fifth or something like that. When they say Americans, are straight up like, I guess they're talking about, I'm not sure who, but that they're there. But we're really the largest population of people in this country. So all that, go back to where you came from, all this racism, all this, the minorities and all this kind of stuff is really, really a lie. It's a skewed point of view that you've been pushing it and we've kind of bought into.
And it's so crazy. It's like people be like, hey, go back to where you came from. Like, you're the one that's complaining about you don't like what's going on in America. Go back to where you came
Absolutely.
from.
You might like it better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you might like that. And I'll tell you one thing. Europe ain't taking nobody back. They're like, no.
They want to kick out who they got coming in now. Yeah. They're ready to get them up out of here. You know what I mean? Like, you talked about you want people from Norway and Finland. You might like Norway or Finland. You're probably from Norway or Finland or somewhere like that. I'm not sure where Trump would be from. I'm not sure where that doesn't have doesn't ring of any area to me. I'm not sure. Maybe he's like Scandinavian. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But
or Finland?
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, hey, man, we're going to keep you up to date. There's some other stuff we're going to cover the next day. This is Uncommon Courtesy. We're going to see y'all next time. Don't forget to catch us 1 p.m. Pacific time every Sunday for our live stream. Uncommon Courtesy. We'll see you next time.